Parasite uses many different techniques in order to portray the theme of the movie, class division. The movie starts with a shot of the sunlight coming through the window of the semi-basement, the Kim's house. The camera tilts down onto Kiwoo, showing that he is under the ground level. Even their toilet is higher than them. And because they can't afford internet, they have to literally put their hand in the air, suggesting that they are reaching into any class above them to try to leech off the cafes who are above them in class. That is done in order to show the viewers how the Kims are so low in the social and financial hierarchy, and that they're part of the lowest class. When Kiwoo is on the way to the parks, you see him physically going up the streets, and figuratively closer to the higher class. On Kiwoo's way up, the camera shots go from looking down at him to looking up at him from a lower angle. This is done to show how Kiwoo is progressing by the mere fact that he is reaching the parks, who are in the higher class. When he is going up the stairs of the house, the sunlight taking up a huge part of the shot. This is also done to show him elevating in class, metaphorically speaking. Before the Kimzo fully infiltrate the park's home, the camera is always slowly and steadily zooming in almost every shot, which is done to give us the feeling that something is coming slowly. This slow zoom-in is very subtle, but it does end and is only done occasionally for some instances after all of the Kims successfully infiltrate the House of the Parks. This is done to give the audience a sense of accomplishment, as in this narrative the protagonist is the Kims. Mise-en-scène in this movie is one of the most important tools that director Bong uses to truly portray class division. In the opening shot, the shadows on the window of the semi-basement are portraying a prison bar, keeping them underground. This is a metaphorical barrier between the classes. Physical lines in the movie are there to keep the lower class and the upper class separated. Each shot you can see here shows a line drawn between the lower and upper class. This line must never be crossed, or you won't even have the privilege of a line between you, but a whole suburb. When the maid is fired for having tuberculosis, she is seen crossing the line here. This is done to show how the line between the two classes can never be crossed, or there will be consequences. An additional way Bong communicates the theme is that he uses props, or more specifically food. At the beginning of the movie, you can see the Kims all drinking F-Lot beer. This is known to be the cheapest beer in Korea. After Kiwoo, Ki-taek, and Ki-jung all get a job at the parks, you can see them all have a far more expensive Japanese imported beer, while the mother, Chung-suk, is still drinking F-Lot since she hasn't been employed there yet. This is to symbolize whoever works at the parks are better off compared to who doesn't. F-Lot isn't the only type of food shown to represent wealth. Quote-unquote poor people food, such as noodles, is also enjoyed by the rich. But since the rich doesn't want to eat cheap food on its own, they add expensive steak on it because they have the means. You can see the steak being put directly on top of the noodles to really communicate the idea of the rich toppling the poor in society in order to progress the theme of the movie. Finally, smell. When the Kims are hiding under the couch, they hear the Parks complain heavily about their smell. The song is used by Bong to spot the smell. This is done because children are known as brutally honest sometimes. This makes the audience see it as an unbiased fact. Poverty is something the Kims cannot escape, as it is in their house, the basis of their lives. This is done to show no matter how hard they try to live among the rich, they will never be able to fully make it because their home, the place to spend the most time in, reeks of the poverty smell. Thank you all very much for watching and have a nice day.